Hi, I'm Rob the accountant. I like to help people build companies while finding solutions to problems that may come your way. Do you need to talk to an accountant but never have enough time? Send an email to ask@robtheaccountant.com and I'll answer your questions in a video posted to YouTube. Questions, ideas, whatever. Let's talk. First, Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the women in the world. Because we wouldn't have a world if there were no women. Because men would not carry children for 9 months. Just wouldn't happen. So, as you're sitting around today, thinking about your life, always remember, whether your mother's here or not, to just look up and thank her and think about her for a minute. Because it is tough to be a woman in the United States of America. It is tough to be a mom and raise children. It's just tough. And these are the things that are reality for people. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. We love you. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about how Barack Obama has it wrong. Barack Obama says gun ownership has become a growing ideological and partisan issue. How so? Let's find out.
I think somehow, and there are a lot of historical reasons for this, gun ownership in this country became an ideological issue and a partisan issue in ways that it shouldn't be.
When we talk about guns becoming a partisan issue and an ideological issue, first of all, it's not an ideological issue. The Second Amendment guarantees the right of the citizens to bear arms. The founders were worried about the king or any successive government repressing its citizens. And the only way that you can make sure that your citizens or anyone is protected is if they have the means to defend themselves against tyranny. And so it's not an ideological issue. Guns are written into the Constitution. It's a big Constitution. It's the Second Amendment. The first was freedom to speak. The second was freedom to defend yourself. So this is not ideological. Partisan, absolutely. Democrats, year after year after year after year, seek to take guns away from people. Crime goes up, murder goes up. Democrats say more gun control. That's what we need. But guns aren't the issue. Stupid people with guns are the issue. So when we say that we have a partisan issue, that partisan issue is exclusively on one party. Nobody in the Republican Party is advocating for gun legislation. So what we have is one side against the other, and that's part of the problem. Let's continue.
It has become sort of a proxy for arguments about our culture wars, urban versus rural. Race is always an element in these issues. Issues of, our
class.
I agree with Obama on the race issue. Okay? First, guns you have to manufacture a gun. So you have a science application on it. So there's a real smart group of people making the guns. And then there's everyone using the guns, and they could be smart or they could not be smart. But the reality is that all walks of life have always relied on guns. The race issue is specifically related to the Democrats, before they became Republicans, seeing free slaves in the northern states having firearms. It terrified them. It terrified them. Minimum wage didn't terrify them because minimum wage was cheaper than having to house a slave. But in 35 states, it doesn't matter whether you're black, brown, white, a goat. You can walk in with ID and you can buy a firearm. But in New York and in most blue states, these rights are subject to certain people. If you've been convicted, you don't get a gun. If you've done this, you can't get there. If you want a gun, you've got to go get a license. If you have guns, then you got to put the guns on a permit. They make it very difficult, and they restrict through their laws lawful constitutional rights. Let's continue.
Of class and education and so forth. And so instead of just taking a very practical approach, like we do, let's say, for example, with car safety,
Right.
where we say, all right, we got a bunch of accidents, let's have seatbelts.
Let's make cars safer.
Okay, this is the problem where Obama has it really wrong on this issue. Okay? Cars, you know, people drive down the road, they don't pay attention, they're on their phones. Cars didn't have seatbelts, they didn't have ABS. Accidents happen because it's a variance of probability that when you put all these people in a set of roads with cars and they all have their own individual ideas, that something might go wrong. But guns don't accidentally discharge. In fact, if you accidentally discharge a firearm, you know, I mean, most of my friends who are gun owners would tell you you're an idiot, okay? But I'm just saying a gun can sit on the table for 30 years and it won't accidentally discharge. So this idea of comparing guns to cars is just freaking idiot. Obama has it wrong because it doesn't make any sense, okay? It just doesn't make any sense. If you want gun crimes to stop, then what we need to do is empower everybody to have the means to defend themselves. That's how true things work. When you have a problem, you find a solution to that problem. And in this case, arming everybody so that people who think they can bully you and harm you and terrorize you because they have a firearm, you can shoot back. It's that simple. That's what solves these problems. Not more gun legislation, not more ideological spectrums, not blaming my neighbors and calling him crazy because he likes guns, or my other friend because he likes to go shoot with his rifles. That's not American. Being American is you get to do what you want here. Okay? Let's continue.
Let's make cars safer and let's engineer roads so that we prevent them. Instead of thinking about it in a very pragmatic way, we end up really arguing about identity and emotion and all kinds of stuff that does not have to do with keeping our children safe.
He's very right on that. At the end of the day, none of this keeps our children safe. So Robbie's got a good way for you. All those fire extinguishers in all of those schools should be refitted with firearms, and all the teachers and all the administrative staffs at every schools should be able to take classes and have the means that the next time man or woman breaks through a front door of a school and starts opening fire, there's a bunch of other people there to return fire. That's how we solve these problems. We don't sit around and pretend that, you know, taking away something from somebody is there, or we don't sit there and pretend that, oh, these guns have become such a partisan issue. You know, partisanship is caused by one side telling the other side they know better. And in this case, Obama has it wrong. I'm Rob the Accountant. I hope you have a great Mother's Day, and let's have a great week. And let's have a little bit less gun violence. That would be great. Nobody dying in a week. Could we do that in America? Could we try to go 1 week without a shooting? And if that shooting has to occur, maybe we could make sure that the victim is the shooter and not innocent people. That's my thoughts. Have a happy Mother's Day.